Oh, yeah, this ain't gonna do. I can't start this video until I freshen up. Be right back. Yeah, that's a lot better. Let's get into the topic. This is going to be a controversial topic, but I want everybody to understand that this is my own personal opinion. Keep that in mind. I will disagree with people. People will disagree with each other. This is how things are done. Maybe we come into a common ground after this segment. But the topic is nerfing. Oh, we all love that topic, don't we? Exactly. Yeah, it's a controversial topic because through the years, I realized that maybe as an older gamer, I don't fully grasp the understanding of the complaints of nerfing a character or a weapon or anything like that. Because, like I stated many times before, back before we had the internet, updates, and stuff like that nature, where you could talk to devs directly now and have something patched, update, nerfed, or buffed, we had to figure it out. It still draws me back to Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition on the Sega Genesis. Sagat was a brutal character to battle against. Some may argue that after that, it was Bison who was even worse. I didn't have a problem with Bison. He was kind of telegraphed in a way. But Sagat, I still recall because back in the day, on that particular game, it will count how many times you've taken on this fight. And I was up to 23. That's right, 23 consecutive fights with Sagat. And he was brutalizing me. And I used the balanced character Ryu because I didn't know how to use charge characters back in the day. It was like weird to hold down, but I can actually do them now. It's pretty well. But other than that, back to the topic at hand. We had to figure out Sagat's jankiness, his OPness, and figure out his exploit, which I did because half the screen he's throwing tiger, 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 low, mid, low, mid, low, mid, and you try to go in, he had tiger uppercut. So you had to figure it out, and I did, and it was a glorious victory. Now, during the time of I want to say 2000s, when internet started getting more crazy with the systems and games, and plus how internet helps you have a better connection, which you thought would be a good thing with developers, turns into a whole, in my opinion, wine fest. Oh, this weapon is too OP. This character is too OP. We need to nerf this, nerf that. Why can't we? I'm just like, now a good friend of mine who is actually well established in the fighting games community, I had to ask him some questions because I wanted to figure out why the constant need to nerf a character. And as he stated, it was more about it's easier to buff a character because, as he used a great example, Ryu, for example, I think it was Street Fighter 5, he said, those Hadoukens apparently give the same damage no matter what level you use. Low, medium, or high. Which, when you think about it, makes no sense because usually when I use the high Hadouken, it turns red and does a bit more damage. But apparently, they all did the same amount of damage, which makes no sense. So that's a prime example of how to buff a character that needed a buff. Yeah, it makes perfect sense when you think about it. Anything in that establishment that you need to have a low, medium, and high tier of, attack. But as he stated, it is easier to talk about how to buff a character versus how to nerf a character because going back to my experience, every time somebody asks us to nerf something and it does get nerfed, they still lose to said thing. So then what? They nerfed it as your request, but yet you're still losing towards that same situation. I don't get it. What are we trying to get here then? If nerfing didn't help, then going to say it, you got to step your game up, or as some people in the FGC would say, step your stick game up, your thumb game up. So I had a few discussions, which I'm not going to disclose any names, on Twitter with a few folks because I was in the closed network test for Gundam Evolution. Great game, freaking awesome. Had a lot of fun, especially with my boy Cyber Rank 10, I was using the Barbados unit. But here's the problem. I sucked with him at first. But did I cry about it? Nah. I really observed the enemy Gundams that used the Barbados and see what I was doing wrong. And once I adapted that to my own skill of play, I got better with Barbados. But apparently, many gamers in that community was saying that Barbados is too OP. He needs to be nerfed. He's too overtuned. And I'm like, but why? Because I'm thinking on the other side of the spectrum, because he has a lot of risk and reward, but mostly risk because he's very squishy. He doesn't have long range attacks at all. He has to really get into the fight and take out an enemy. He has a charged mace attack, and you can hold it down, but you know it doesn't have a cooldown, which I get. But either way, like I said, it doesn't really matter that much. He has a jump attack. Well, it's more like a jump to get in and get out, but it resets upon a kill. So you got to do some precision timing to get that kill if done properly. So yes, a person that is skilled with the Barbados unit or any other Gundam will have an easier time versus somebody that didn't take the time to learn the characters, but immediately goes and asks for a nerf. I found that to be a big problem in the gaming community. And the arguments that were established to me made no sense whatsoever. Because one person stated a statement that everybody kept on complaining about how Barbatos is overpowered. But yet he never showed up in any of the MVP clips. It was always other the tank units, a healing unit, stuff like that. But it was like this person said, you may not see Barbados in MVP clips, but the real problem with them is that they can easily get in, kill a critical member of your team, and bounce out with almost no counters. Even if you are aware of where he is, he can still go and pick off one or two teammates and get a health pack. The problem that I have with that situation is the health packs are placed in very convenient areas for everyone to do. Every Gundam has a dash step ability. Some have 3, some have 2. Barbados is made for that so he can get in and get out. A skilled player who knows how to use Barbados will use that and establish it properly, especially exploiting your team's weakness. Then they go on to say, the risk versus reward for Barbados is all reward, no risk, unless you are just really bad. I would suggest a slight rebalance, making the slam ability have either a longer cooldown, a longer charge up, or you can't hold it down like an 8 forever and boost around. Now this is coming from a person that said they didn't want it nerfed. They want it balanced. That's a nerf. And then you kind of contradict yourself. Of course a skilled player... it's just weird that you're going to say, unless you're really bad with the Barbados. Of course you're not going to be able to do all that if you're really bad with it. That's where practice comes in. Somebody that knows how to use a character very well, in and out, they deserve that victory because they put in that time to get those V's and W's. Come on now. So it's just like, these are many complaints that I've been hearing through the years with everything, even in first-person shooters, racing games, or, you know, the Gundam game. That's like, it's not Battle Royale. It's like Overwatch. So MOBA, I want to say, MOBA style. But yeah, all these things people put into work. There's going to be a skill gap. We gotta establish that. If you put in the same amount of time, like prime example, somebody was complaining in a racing game that I was playing, and it was one of the foreigners, and they was complaining about the car that I was using, because you know you can put in rules that certain cars can't be used. So what they assumed was that my car was not a C level, it was an A rank. But it's not the car, it's the person that's driving it. And I had to show them my screen, and yeah, I had a C rank car. But I just knew how to tune it properly, and I won the race. That's all it comes down to. I put in the work. And that's what it all comes down to in any video game that I want to establish for anybody. So I want to put down this type of thought process. Stop complaining about nerfing and just figure it out. Figure out the exploits. You're not being put in a corner or being put outside, and nobody's gonna. I mean, there's gonna be some A hats that's gonna say that you're not good enough to be. No, I don't believe that. I just believe that most gamers are lazy. Instead of just figuring out, putting that work, taking on that challenge, they just want to immediately say nerf something. This was a network test, and so far the game was beautifully run. Had no lag issues, none of that. Established great connections with my buddies. And all the Gundams had their own special abilities that helped each other out in any situation. It was amazing. And now we're talking about Nerf Barbados. No, I don't want any character to be nerfed in any type of game. Unless it's some really silly, janky mess where the person is invisible or an immortal item or something like that that can't be broken at all, then fix it. But I still would like to figure it out. If you could play Elden Ring for all the crap that they can go on in that game and you don't ask for nerf, they actually nerfing you in Elden Ring. That says something when you think about it. Elden Ring is one of those games that everybody says game of the year. But some of the same people that call this game of the year are not complaining about nerfing any of the monsters or any of that stuff. But yet, when it comes to PvP, immediately nerf it when a person knows what they're doing with a character. So yes, I agree with Shadowgen. A better argument is buffing a character. There's no real good argument about nerfing a character. I have not seen one. But you know what? I leave the floor open to you. Let's discuss this. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I want to educate myself on what is a justification of nerfing a character, nerfing an object or an ability. Let me know in the comments below. So other than that, please hit that like and subscribe button. I definitely want to engage with this conversation some more. We're at 536 subscribers. Trying to build up some more. Other than that, have a great day, and as always, be stout.